I'm Ariel Azor, host of Right This Way, and today we're going to talk about progressivism. So if you're my age, you probably have seen the picture circulating of Harry Styles wearing a dress on the cover of Vogue. If you're not, I will put that up here for you to see. That's there. There's several other photos of him wearing, there's one of him in a skirt or a kilt, if you want to call it that, whatever you'd like. And there's several other photos in the past that photo shoots or things that he's done where he's wearing some, I would consider more feminine outfits. And if you haven't heard about it, obviously there's a ton of uproar and people are saying, oh, it's so great. For the most part, people are saying, oh, it's so great. I can't believe he's wearing a dress. It's just so great. Of course men can wear dresses too. And then people on the right, of course, conservatives like Candace Owens and several other people have come out and said, this is kind of what's wrong with calling masculinity toxic and trying to normalize things that just aren't normal. Now, a lot of people have varying opinions on this, and I think I stand with most of the right when I say I don't care what Harry Styles does. I personally don't like men in dresses, but Harry Styles has millions of fans, people who literally believe he can do no wrong, and he could wear a paper bag and people would still love him and call it fashion and say it was the best outfit ever created. It's simply anything he does to a lot of people is okay, is good. It's praiseworthy even. People are absolutely obsessed with celebrities, especially I don't know if it's just because so many people from my generation grew up with One Direction, or if it's I don't know exactly what it is, but literal obsession. This man can do no wrong. So the moment conservative commentators start saying, oh, this isn't exactly something that's really great for culture, people are immediately saying, oh, you're just behind the times. That's just the thing is Harry Styles can do whatever he wants. He can wear whatever he wants. I don't care. No one really cares. And I don't even think these conservative commentators that have come under fire for some of the things they've said, I don't think any of them necessarily care what Harry Styles wears. It's just that the narrative surrounding this entire thing, this Vogue cover, is Harry Styles is normalizing dresses and skirts for men. That's the narrative. And if you don't think that's normal, that's great. He's normalizing that. Good for him. He's a pioneer of normalizing women's fashion for men. If you think that's a great thing, then you fit with the narrative. If you think this is a great thing, you are not a socially rebellious person who wants to break gender norms. You're not. You're just a mindless follower of progressivism. And the problem with being a mindless follower of progressivism, because some progress is always good, because there's always going to be some things that need changing. However, progressivism has no end. There's no end to the progress, and it seeks to break down institutions that we've had for hundreds of years sometimes that are there for a reason. Something like, the biblical idea of marriage, right? That has been taken so far away that people don't remember what it is anymore. Even a lot of churches can't remember what marriage is supposed to be. Most conservatives hold that standpoint because of a religious view. So that goes into why I think we shouldn't be saying, oh my gosh, this is so great. This is just great. This is wonderful. Here's what I think we should say. Harry Styles, you do you. Again, so many people will love you no matter what you do. I think Harry Styles could come out as a mass murderer and people would still love him. I literally do not think he can do anything wrong. And so for him to want to do this and wear a dress on the cover of a magazine and be the first man on the cover of that magazine in 100 years or something, fantastic. Good for you, Harry, because you don't live in the real world, right? You live in a world where everybody's going to congratulate you, and the people who oppose you in any way are going to be viciously attacked with death threats. So Harry Styles is not some super strong man who is, coming out to break gender norms. That's not what he's doing, because there's no fear of this not being accepted. The narrative is, let's normalize this. Men should be wearing dresses. Let me ask you a question. If you like Harry Styles or not, if you like men in dresses or not, if you walk out of your house and go look at somebody on the street, in the store, I don't know, in the mall, and you see a man in a dress, do you think that man, one, likes women, and you might be interested in him? Two, is mentally sound? Now, there's been so much argument. I've heard so many people, and that's why I want to talk about this, is because I've heard so many arguments on this. And I think it's kind of crazy because people that don't support it, I don't think are getting the point across well enough as to why they don't support it. I think that the point that's coming across is we don't like men in dresses. I don't care if men want to wear dresses. But I think that the majority of men living in this country, let's say straight men and men who are not confused about their gender, I would bet that the majority of them do not ever want to wear a dress or think that would be normal. So what are we doing in Vogue by praising Harry Styles' dress wearing? What are we doing to young men? And I mean, just to all men in general, what are we telling them? What message are we giving off? Yeah, we love that. But then when we see it in person and all of a sudden it's not Harry Styles who's in the dress, oh yeah, that's a little weird, right? That's going to be, I guarantee you, the majority of every normal person's reaction. Because men don't wear dresses. Dresses aren't meant for men. And like I said, if most of us actually saw a man wearing a dress, would your first inclination be, oh my gosh, he is so brave. I can't believe he's wearing a dress. That's really attractive, honestly, a man in a dress. That is just so attractive. I love that. It's not about the clothes. It doesn't matter that women can wear suits or that men can't wear dresses or that men, in other countries can wear kilts in, like Scotland. It's not about the clothing. It's about the message behind the clothing. And in this case, the only message is there are no normals. There's nothing that's for men and nothing that's for women, which we know isn't true. There's no normal, and that's the way we want it to be. We want to break down any sense of normalcy you may have. But again, the problem with progressivism is just that. We want to break down everything normal. And it's a contradiction in and of itself because we want to make it normal to have nothing normal, right? So like break down gender norms and then create new gender norms. Basically, you cannot ever possibly completely remove normalcy. I think we do so much damage already through feminism and trying to like chip away at gender stereotypes because gender stereotypes are not stereotypes so that the people who follow them are oppressed, right? If that were true, because again, like there's always going to be some sort of normal. If that were true, literally would mean everybody's oppressed. And let's look at this. In this case, women can wear just about anything. Men can't really wear dresses. So if we consider this, who actually might be oppressed in this case? You'd say men, probably, unless you're a really angry feminist and you think that it's impossible for men to be oppressed. I don't think men are oppressed because they can't wear dresses. They're not really missing out on anything. But the irony of the argument is that there is really no sound argument. Simply get rid of gender norms. Why shouldn't men be able to wear dresses? Again, I don't care. I really do not care if a man walks around in a dress. I'm gonna like have my own thoughts on it, but I'm not gonna hate on him and I'm not gonna throw something at him and call him names. That is the reaction that the majority of normal people would have because that's the normal reaction. If you see something you don't like, you ignore it or stare if you're kind of rude. But other than that, I mean, the normal reaction is just to walk away. But in reality, this idea that there are no gender norms, I think is just confusing to young people. Because again, I mean, you see this all the time when parents are raising up their children. If a little boy says, I want a doll, and you point him toward the truck aisle, nowadays they say you're a bad parent. But I mean, just 10 years ago, that was normal because kids are naturally curious and, naturally kind of can be confused about things, but you kind of understand, like this is for boys and this is for girls. And the left saying that there's something wrong with that, again, is just an attack on masculinity because they don't want strong men. But we do, because the right wants to fight for conservative Christian values, because we understand that strong men have a role to play in society, in the family, in the church, everywhere. I mean, making men less masculine and more feminine is, again, exactly the opposite of what we want to be doing. And then feminism turns that around and makes women more masculine, and then hates on men for their masculinity. Progressivism never stops. It's a disease, and it spreads slowly, and the more things you allow it into, the more things it tears down and continues to seep into the cracks and destroy things that just 3 years ago would have been absolutely insane. Because the left doesn't want strong men. But we do. If you've enjoyed this episode, you can give me a thumbs up on YouTube. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also check out my Instagram at right.this.way.